Wallace Brighton just and Long and pal Teddy Kraft. Aileen Jo Lossment, host the famous podcast The Nazi Party. The place Wallace finds movies of human beings doing humiliating matters and suggests them to Teddy whilst they make enjoyable of the human beings on the videos. Their present-day sufferer is the Kill Bill Kid, Douglas Banks, who by accident slices his proper leg off with a katana. Wallace then pronounces his plans to fly to Canada to interview and make enjoyable of him. And flashbacks unfold through the film. It's printed that Wallace was once at the beginning an unpopular stand-up comedian who grew to become famous with his an increasing number of vicious podcasts, which upsets his female friend ally Leon Genesis and leads to fights accusing him of promoting out. Upon arriving in Manitoba, Wallace learns the Kill Bill Kid has by chance killed himself when arriving at his funeral. Upset that he is flown to Canada for nothing, Wallace decides to continue to be in Morday with the intention of discovering every other weirdo to interview. When the usage of the restroom at a bar becomes throughout a handbill from any individual presenting a room in his domestic for free and the warranty of listening to a lifetime of fascinating stories. His pastime peaked. Wallace arrives at the stately domestic of Howard Howe Michael Parks, an older man in a wheelchair, who provides tea and a number of his fascinating tales at sea. The one Howe is most passionate about telling is when one of the ships he served on crashed when searching for a legendary wonderful white shark and how a walrus he named Mr. Tusk saved him from drowning. As Howe tells his story, Wallace passes out from capsules laced in his tea. The subsequent morning, Wallace wakes up to locate himself strapped into a wheelchair and his left leg amputated. Howe tells him he noticed a recluse spider crawl out of his pant leg and a nearby health practitioner had to amputate it to retailer Wallace's life. Wallace finds the story incredulous and subsequently realizes Howe's madness when he makes a funny story about the spider over dinner. The place Howe no longer solely exhibits his potential to walk. However, his plans for Wallace, having a scary obsession with the walrus, he plans to match Wallace into a flawlessly developed walrus costume. He tries to contact Ally and Teddy, having an affair at the back of Wallace's lower back. Fail when neither reply their smartphone earlier than Howe beats him in the lower back of the head with no sick telling him his human lifestyles is over. Now totally conscious of the risk Wallace is in, Ally and Teddy fly to Canada to seem for him, turning up severe failed leads. Back at the mansion, as Howe continues to mutilate and alter Wallace, he tells his backstory as a duplicitous orphan and high years of physical, psychological, and sexual abuse in the course of his childhood have pushed him definitely mad and cemented years of hatred toward humanity. Howe's work completed, Wallace is sewn into a horrific walrus pelt made of human skin, the tusks made of the tibia bones from Wallace's severed legs. Al revels at the return of his loved Mr. Tusk in his big aberration of man and walrus. Local detective Frank Garman places Ally and Teddy in touch with Gala Point Johnny Depp, an alcoholic Quebec ex-cop who has been looking out for years, as soon as discovering him by means of hazard a few years earlier than underneath the one-of-a-kind identify and residing situation. He displays that Hal, nicknamed the First Wife by way of the police for his horrific MO, has been kidnapping and murdering human beings for years, unaware of his walrus creations, and believes Wallace can also nonetheless be alive, however no longer as they be aware him. They ultimately discover Hal's tackle via two comfort shop clerks Wallace had aggravated earlier. As the three arrive at Hal's home, Wallace's psyche has been definitely damaged and conditioned to be like that of a walrus. Hal then exhibits his different secret. His actual obsession comes from killing and consuming Mr. Tusk 6 months after residing on the island, and, out of guilt for his human qualities, he has modified all these human beings into his loved savior in the threat to relive their remaining day and provide him every other hazard at survival. Dressed in his personal homemade belt, Hal and Wallace have interaction in a messy walrus combat that ends in Wallace going full walrus and killing Hal with his tusks. Ally and Teddy locate the enclave and are horrified by Wallace's altered appearance. As he bellows at them like a walrus, Gila Point enters and goes a shotgun at it. 12 months later, Wallace, nevertheless sewn into the belt, lives what lifestyles he has in a flora and fauna sanctuary. Ally and Teddy, nevertheless damaged up over the situation, come go to him and feed him a mackerel. Ally, remembering a dialogue she had with Wallace the day earlier than he left for Canada about how crying separates people from animals, tells Wallace she nevertheless loves him earlier than on foot off crying. Tears run down Wallace's face. Tusk's as he bellows.